Welcome to Turning Tuesday. This week, I faced more than one challenge. Now, I started with this piece and I wasn't overly confident in it. Wasn't sure if it would survive. And this was recorded live at Ararat. So you got Sid out behind me there in the blue. I'm not sure who's walking around in the red. It might be Barry Woods from Melton. And straight in front of me, I had Stuart and Diane. And they were another lovely couple. Really supportive. I've left a conversation in with them towards the end of the video. In fact, it is the end of the video. And throughout the video, I did stop, have a few chats with a few people. But for the most part, I've sped through those, because otherwise it would have been an hour-long video. So I'm going to get into this and talk to some of the events that happened.
Oh, yeah. I have concerns, Sid. I have concerns. I have concerns.
Have concerns? Already?
Hey?
Already?
Yeah, already. Oh, no!
What?
What's happened?
Oh, the knob's gone.
Yep, the knob is gone. Well, it looks like I'm turning this at 800 the whole way. Because I'm not fixing this tonight.
So yeah, that happened. My speed control knob had undone the nut and fallen inside. Now when it did that, it turned the speed all the way down. Now I'm on the medium gear here, so I'm running somewhere around 450, 550. And yeah, slow going from here on out. Now, as you can see, I'm just coming up the side there, just trying to get it closer to round. And this whole time I'm turning, I'm just thinking, what am I going to do next? Because something about this isn't sitting right with me. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. Anyway, as I said, this was live at Ararat. So I've got Sid beside me. And in one of the videos, there's some pictures of a young fella named Kai from Sid's town. And he's also packed up and gone home. So this was the last day, the last night. So I'm doing the exterior before dinner and I did the interior after dinner. Now, as you can see, this one's fighting me because it's turning so slowly. If I was spinning at full speed on the medium belt, it probably would have been fine. I couldn't get there. So, yeah, that was a bit of fun. So yeah, I slugged through this. I flattened off the bottom as best as I could for an initial recess. Just slowly raising the handle up to center for a nice clean cut through. I'm going to come for another couple of little heavy cuts there. That was Barry just walking through, so it wasn't Barry in the red before. Because Barry's in all blue. Barry and I did have a conversation about the profile that I run on this gouge, because he was impressed with just how large a cut I can take with it. And I probably would have taken heavier again should I have had proper speed. But at this speed, the lathe's sitting there trying to stall out. And just looking there, you can see Barry's foot sneaking in, and we had a quick chat about my profile. Now, Barry and I have both been down to Pambula. There was another turning event in between Ararat and the release of this video. And there's going to be a video that includes some photos from both events coming up soon. So, stay tuned.
My concerns are not the same anymore. I still have concerns, but they're different ones now. I have concerns, but they're different ones now. I'm still 50-50 if this thing blows out the side.
So yeah, at this point, I'm sitting there seeing all the punkiness, all the big cracks, all the everything that could go wrong with this piece. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, this could still go very wrong. And it did. Not as wrong as it could have, but yeah. We'll talk to those when we get to them. I'm just taking some big cuts here, trying to refine that shape. I've marked out for an internal recess and the exterior of the foot. Now, fun fact, I didn't make that recess big enough, so I did have to remount it and take it out wider. As you can see, I took a nice heavy cut there, but because I am running on a slower speed, I stalled out. So I backed out of the cut and went again.
When it went in, Sid, turn the speed the whole way down.
Hey?
It turned the speed the whole way down.
As you can see on Sid's face there.
Now I can't get above 550.
As you can see on Sid's face there, he was like, uh-oh. I know what that means. That's going to be a hard slog. I saw that face and I was like, yep, that's what I thought too. Anyway, I pushed on. Just like I'm doing here, a nice push cut, trying to get a nice clean cut coming around that cove and form it nicely. Out behind Sid there, we've got Captain Smiley, or Michael. A couple of weeks back I did a video that was supposed to be a cauldron, but the shape ended up being something else entirely. It wasn't a horrible shape, but it wasn't what I was aiming for. He is the gentleman that posed that challenge. Thank you again for that, Michael. I'm pretty sure he's standing there poking his tongue out, or sitting there at his scroll saw poking his tongue out at us. Now, as you can tell, with a piece like this, I stopped and started and stopped and started because I did not trust anything about this piece. So, yes, it was a hard slog. Yes, I kept most of the turning at real time. I sped through the sanding and some of the repetitive scraping, but for the most part it was real time turning, and yes, I am just being this gentle. And here, because I know there is that void up on that corner, just taking it nice and gentle. And now I'm coming in with a scraper, and I'm going to get a nice negative angle on it and try and clean up some of those tool marks. Now, this is an interesting one. This Redgum had some nice big punky sections, and unfortunately that meant problems for me. Excessive tear out, to be precise. We'll have a look at that in a second. Right now, I'm just focusing on refining that shape and locking it in as much as I can. Keeping a negative angle there and just doing very light, gentle cuts. And it is working nicely. Now I'm using my bowl gouge and I'm coming back out towards the edge, creating quite a nice recess in there. I'll only go so far, then I'll come in with a skew and just take that down with the long tip. And I will do a couple of passes here. Now you'll notice I'm using a radiused skew. That is so that when I hit the bottom, I don't get full contact. And just rounding off those corners so that I don't slice my hand open. And giving it a quick hand sand. You can see right there all of that nasty tear out. I dropped down to 80 grit, and I was having a chat with, I think that's Barry standing there, yeah, having a chat with Barry, and going over what's going on with the piece, and then I think Sid caught wind of it. Yep, here comes Sid, and he's like, you know what? You need a power sand this. So he lent me his power sander and some sanding discs, and I gave it a crack. So I did it with the lathe running. It got rid of most of them. And then I think I stopped and did a couple of specific spots just by themselves. Yep. Just hitting some very, very specific ones that are just nasty tear out, and then blended them back in by running the lathe again. Borrowed Sid's blower while I was at it and blew off his lathe bed. And I came back with a quick hand sand just to make sure I couldn't feel any lumps or bumps. And then I went straight in with the tung oil. As you can see, the vibrant reds and oranges all around, except for that one portion just there, which has gone very, very dark. So in the
Very pretty colour.
It still might explode.
That's not good.
You may have just heard Nat there saying it's a very pretty colour. Then I said, it still might explode yet. I still have to hollow it out. Now, I have flipped this around and I am cutting very slowly. It is very painful. And then I realized I could do something else. Now I almost stalled out there completely. And then I popped it out.
Which part of that failed?
And as I always do, I then do some analysis and try and figure out which part failed. I just happened to have an audience at the time.
Oh, I see what happened.
Right, exactly.
I was pressing too hard and went into a void, popped it out.
So yes, pressing too hard and going into a void usually ends up the same way. Not nice. Anyway, so what I've done in the meantime is I have gone from the middle belt to the high speed belt, because I know my speed control is stuck on the slowest setting, and so any extra speed I could get was going to help with these voids. So I'm running at about 1200 now, which still isn't anywhere near as fast as I'd like to be running, but it was fast enough. And so yeah, this is after dinner. We went in, we did raffles and dinner, and then I came back out and I got to a point here where I could not pick up a cut. You can hear all that rattling from it running so fast. That's all the tools down on the bench. A little bit of skate back there. Headbutting the camera rig. And yeah, I'm just not picking up the cut the way I expected to. So I went off and sharpened, and I've come back and picking up the cut a little bit. Still nowhere near what I was expecting to. So, now we've got a nice little dark bit in the middle. And I got a little concerned that they may have gone the whole way through and I just destroyed the piece. And this is where I got to, and I was realizing that I was not picking up the cuts. Needed to lift my handle a little bit there. Hindsight is 20/20. But yeah, this is not cutting anywhere like all of the other builds I've done. So most of these all came out of the same piece, and I cannot for the life of me get this to cut properly. The whole way through was an absolute struggle fest. So thank you for joining me on this journey. So not only did things go wrong with the lathe, things went wrong with the wood because it just was not cooperating. So, right now I have an exceptionally sharp tool because I've only just grinded it. And as you can see, I'm not picking up that cut. And so I'm going to go and sharpen again, straight away. So, off on the grinder, give it a quick grind, and we are back in action. I'm still putting far too much force behind me to actually get this to cut, and I'm not happy with the amount of force I'm having to put on it. I'm expecting it to jump out of the recess any stage. And again, I'm not picking up the cut. Now, can anyone out there tell me the definition of insanity? I'm pretty sure it's trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I'm pretty sure I was at that point. Got to the point where it wasn't working, so I decided a couple of push cuts towards center might do the trick. Just take the angle from a different one entirely.
Hey? No. Not winning at all.
Harder the hob to hell, is it?
Hey?
Harder the hob to hell.
Yeah, it's harder than it should be.
Harder than the hobs of hell is what I've just had from Stuart, and he wasn't wrong. This thing was dry. It was hard, it was not cooperating, and I got to the point where I didn't think I was actually going to get anywhere with this piece, because the gougers were just not doing the trick. I'm getting to that point just there, and I'm popping out. Pulled out a massive piece of sap that was right on that void, and hoping that'll allow me to keep cutting. Not really. I'm almost at a fully open flute here, and with this piece, I know that if I get one catch, it's going to explode. Even at full thickness, I'm pretty sure this thing would just go pop. There is some massive voids in it, and I was teetering on the edge of danger a lot of the time during this turning. Now, I've just said to myself, I think I'm going to have to try scrapers. Don't ask why I thought that was a good idea. But straight away, I'm at least getting something out of there. I never expected I would have to pull out scrapers to combat a little piece of Redgum. Now I'm getting to this point here and I'm like, I'm not liking that this is matching my tool. I'm going to end up blowing it up with this tool. I need to come up with a different approach. You'll notice just here, I saw that radius and went, that's too close. That is far, far too close. I need to have a look and see what's going on. You can see, got quite a few voids up the top there, and I have now changed to a refiner style scraper, and I'm using it as a flat end scraper, and I'm just taking it down. I knew I could blend the curves after the fact, And I'm just gently taking it in. This is real-time turning, so it's not overly slow, but it's also not fast. You can hear all of those knocks from those pits, and everything about it is not making me comfortable. Anyway, back to middle and take it out a bit more. Sometimes you've just got to be willing to do something a little bit outside the norm. Now, if anyone else out there has ever had a really stubborn piece of Redgum, how did you combat it? Have you ever had it hard enough that the gouges just would not engage? Because my gouges were still sharp, like to the point where I just ran my finger along it and I got a nice little cut. So they were still sharp, they were still perfectly sharp, but they still would not engage. Anyway, so I kept on with this for quite a while. I'm pretty sure I did speed up some of this cutting towards the end, because you didn't need to see the same thing over and over and over and over. As you can see, I'm just tapering it in. Then I will come back with one of my round nose scrapers and clean it all up. Now, I did just take an entire chunk out of this. So that was a little bit of a fun experiment. Was not entirely what I intended to do. I'm taking these about a millimeter at a time, just slowly working down. This is a 1-inch P&N flat nose scraper that I've turned into a refiner shape. I'm getting to the point here where I'm pretty sure I'm going to switch over to one of my big 38s and clean up the curvature inside. Maybe I said I need to go a bit deeper first. Alright, I'm just checking. I'm liking how that's feeling. And going straight in with the dome. And just moving straight out towards the edge. And just about here, I stalled it. And then I covered the camera with a nice piece of shaving. You can see some of those ridges in there, and I'm just trying to blend everything together. Now, the camera colors on this did change dramatically because this was just a cloud of red. And so it tried to compensate and made it very green.
It's resembling an art piece, Reese.
You're right, it is.
That was my niece Natalie saying it's resembling an art piece, Reese. So, there's a couple of people out there in the turning community who have said if it can't hold soup, it's an art piece. And they're not wrong. So this is an art piece, because it cannot hold soup. I don't think it ever could hold soup, but I'm pretty sure it'll hold some nice fruit if someone wanted to use it as a fruit bowl. So it's nice and shallow, nice and wide. It's a 10-inch bowl in the end, and I did try and keep it flowing. There's a couple of ridges there that were caused from the power sanding, but for the most part, it all came out and it came up gorgeous. So I'm watching where the shavings are coming off on that tool. If they move left or right rapidly, then that means I've probably hit a ridge, and so I slow down and go a little bit harder in, or everything is fine. Anyway, so just sanding up around the edge because of those voids. I refuse to hand sand them. I sanded that up to 400, and I'm just doing as much as I can on the inside, blow it all out and see what I've missed. And there was quite a few little points here that needed a bit more love. And so I spent quite a while here just touching it up, hitting it again, touch it up, hit it again, touch it up, hit it again. Stole some more sandpaper from Sid. Thank you very much, Sid. Oh no, that was me returning it because, ooh, look at that figure. So I had gotten to a point where I was happy and put some tung oil in it. Now, I did not burnish this tung oil in, which just means it takes longer for it to polymerize properly. And I do need to put another coat or two on it still because it's just soaking it straight in. You can see that punky spot at the bottom there, how it's much darker.
How long are you going to be working here tonight?
No, I was just finishing this one.
Now we've got Diane coming over for a chat.
That's nice colouring, isn't it?
I'm more than a little surprised that it survived, to be honest.
Huh?
I'm more than a little surprised that it survived.
Well, you should be proud of yourself.
I am. Man pieces that should not survive keep finding each other.
Well,
And I don't know how they keep surviving.
I think it looks very nice.
I run with the theory that
Hey?
it's got a 50-50 chance of either being absolutely gorgeous or being in pieces on the floor.
Well,
This one definitely had the opportunity and it chose to stick together.
it's stuck together all right.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Very happy with it.
I think it's very good. I think you should be proud of yourself. Yes.
Oh, you got it hooked out? Yeah, good.
Yeah. Good.
Could not do it with a gouge. I had to switch over to scrapers.
No, I think that's great.
I'm very proud. Yeah. Let's hope the people of YouTube enjoy it as well.
Sorry?
Let's hope the people of YouTube enjoy it as well.
I'm
'Cause
sure they will.
I've done it as a video.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
This is Stuart and his wife Diane were the two at the end of the video having a chat, and they are absolutely lovely people and I really enjoyed having a chat with them. And as you can see, this piece has come out quite stunning. So that crack there goes the whole way through. You do see light the whole way through it, and it is quite a character. Thank you for watching.